morning, everybody, and happy 45th Earth Day. It is a beautiful day today. We are filled with all sorts of activities. Immediately following this press conference, I would invite any of you who would like to follow me to Harrisburg Cemetery, where we are going to be doing a tree planting ceremony, doing a little pre-honoring of Arbor Day, which is on Friday, and there's a whole host of state agencies, arborists from around the Commonwealth, all there donating their time to the cemetery, and you can learn more about that as one of many different birthday activities going on today. I also wanted to give you a brief update on the LED light conversion. I don't know if any of you have made it out yet to see those lights, but the updated map is now up on the website and will be near the recycling guidelines. I'll give you that link in a minute. And we have added to the map the other fixture which we are expecting in today. So we've got one more fixture that hasn't come in. According to the tracking, it's going to be in today. If it's in today, we'll put it up today or tomorrow. But you can print that map out, which has all the fixtures on it, take it on your walk, and then hopefully submit your comments to the city. Earth Day is about the environment. It is about respecting the earth. It is about celebrating things that are good for the environment. And one of the things which is certainly good is our LED conversion, which is going to be a remarkable savings in electricity consumption for the city. So today, however, we have exciting announcements regarding recycling in the city of Harrisburg. And we figured Earth Day was the time to do it. And I am joined by a variety of distinguished guests, but essentially our Public Works team here, and also HAC. And we'll explain HAC's role in all of this in just a minute. But everyone is excited about these recycling changes. What I would like to say is probably the single most important takeaway from today's meeting is that the city is now offering single stream recycling. That's a big deal. That's not available everywhere else. What that means is you can take all your recyclables and you can mix them together. You don't have to separate out the newspapers or the cardboard or the plastics. They can all go together. Now, we are starting as well to roll out new recycling containers throughout the city of Harrisburg. We are beginning with all of our commercial accounts. And the commercial accounts are getting these big toters. Look at these things. Fantastic. Now they will have City of Harrisburg recycling and a city seal on them, but they're huge and they have a lot of volume, 96 gallons, right? Residences are going to get these. We call them barrels. They are much bigger than the tiny little crates, which you can see behind you there that we used to have for city recycling. And why are they bigger? Because we are expecting with this new single stream recycling that there's going to be more recycling than ever before in the city. Now, it's important to note that the more you recycle, the more you will theoretically be able to save in your trash bill. And we're starting with all of our commercial accounts, going door to door, literally, with every business in the city of Harrisburg, and trying to help adjust their trash and recycling needs to the realities of what they actually do. There was a study that went and looked in the commercial dumpsters of the city of Harrisburg a year or two ago by Gannett Fleming that basically said the majority of materials in those dumpsters could actually be recycled. And what that means is that if businesses reduce the size of their dumpsters and increase the number of these recycling toters, and by the way, they can have as many of those as they need and they will use, then their trash bill can decrease significantly. And I know we would all like that. Later in the year, once we're finished with the commercial rollout, which is going to take a few more months, then we're going to start with the residential rollout. But there is nothing stopping residents right now from changing to the single stream and incorporating these new recyclable materials. It's just that the rollout of the bins will be later on in the year. We want them to get used to the changes now. But for residents as well, eventually you're going to also switch to a toter system. And basically, right now, everybody sort of pays the same residential flat rate for trash, and that's going to basically be the equivalent of one toter. So if you need more than one toter, you're going to pay a new rate that is based on the number of the toters that you have, And again, the more you recycle then, the more potentially you can save on your residential trash bill. We know there are a lot of residences that put out more than sort of the legal limit in trash. And we're going to require that it goes in toters. And if you're a 2-unit residential and you need 2 toters, you'll get 2 toters. And if you're a 3-unit and you need 3, you'll get 3. But again, the more you recycle, the less potentially you will have to pay. So those are the main first 2 points. The other main points of today's press conference is to let you know that there are more paper products recyclable now than ever before. And I want to really emphasize this because for years the city really has not recycled cardboard. But we are now recycling cardboard. And when you think of cardboard, you might think only of cardboard boxes or corrugated cardboard, but no, we're talking about cereal boxes, we're talking about other types of cardboard. We're also recycling more paper, more plastic than ever before, and I'm going to let our recycling coordinator sort of walk you through those types of things. But this can make a big difference. If you think about your trash at home and all that goes in the trash, we've already made this change with my family, and I'm telling you, we're probably triple the recycling of what we were before we started thinking about cardboard like that. The other big change, and it is a big change, is that the city is no longer going to be recycling glass. I'd like you to try and remember the catchy phrase, glass is trash. Paper is gold, but glass is trash. The reason we don't recycle glass is because it's just not economically or environmentally efficient. Glass is heavy, it's costly to transport. When it breaks, it needs to be sorted by color to be able to be recycled. And essentially, it costs more to recycle glass than glass is worth. Glass is also not a detriment to the environment. It won't leach into the soil, it won't cause a problem. That is a change for folks because normally when you think of recycling, you may think of glass. But not so moving forward in the city of Harrisburg. We ask that you put your glass in the trash. Now, if you are a bar or a business that produces an extraordinary amount of glass, we will pick up that glass and we will recycle that glass. And if the occasional glass item gets mixed into the recycling, that's not going to be a problem either. What we're trying to do, however, is separate glass out from this sort of single stream recycling product, which then we get to sell and which makes revenue for the city of Harrisburg. If you're a resident, however, and you still want to recycle glass, you can. You just have to take it yourself to one of 2 Dauphin County recycling centers that are in the city. You can take it to the Uptown Plaza, or you can take it to the recycling center at the incinerator. You've got 2 places where you can drop off your glass. But from here on out, feel free to put your glass in with your trash and take your paper and your cardboard and your glossy magazines and put that in with your recycling and see what a big difference that is going to make. We're going to have more announcements as we move forward, but as I say right now, our team is hard at work working with every business in the city to make sure that they get these and they get also a similarly looking but slightly different trash toter unless they are producing so much trash that they are at the dumpster size. So to talk more about this exciting array of materials and the recycling program that really he has helped to bring to the city of Harrisburg, we are very fortunate to have John Rarick. John, we hired last year as our recycling coordinator after how many years with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? 25 years performing that very job for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He comes with a wealth of knowledge, connections, and he is working tirelessly every day to prepare for this rollout, to help with the distribution of the new containers, and to get us going. John, it's great to have you on board. You want to talk about what we see?
Thank you, sir. The mayor has reviewed the situation really well, and I'm just going to go over a couple of details. Here, for your viewing pleasure, are the things that we've been recycling in Harrisburg all along, with the exception of the glass. So people will continue with tin cans, aluminum cans, really any kind of packaging plastic that's labeled. You know, the chasing arrows that you find on the bottom of the container. If it says 1 through 7, they're welcome in this single stream program. So all plastic containers 1 through 7 and the usual cans and aluminum and tin cans. I'll talk more about the glass in a moment. Now, the paper is the big deal. And what happens when all this paper is mixed together, it becomes a commodity that's really been created by the modern packaging industry. It's called just fiber. And this material will find its way usually to China or India, where it will be all put together and turned into packaging. And usually it ends up in the back of these blister pack things, this kind of packaging, but any kind of boxes. So you're now going to be able to put magazines, newspaper, and phone books in with the recycling all together. Also, your regular corrugated boxes. These are rather small, I see, but we need them flattened out as much as possible. If you have a lot of them, please, get them strung together and put them out with the recycling and the trash. The big addition that the mayor was referring to, this paperboard, brown paperboard that we get so many things in. This is what we expect to get a whole lot of from now on, and everyone is encouraged to use that. Please, these boxes are very easy to flatten. Take out the wax paper bags or plastic bags that might be inside, please, and just give us the paper. Now, when it comes to office paper and assorted types of office paper, it doesn't matter if it's yellow paper. It doesn't matter if it's printed on. It's welcome to the recycling program, and shredded paper. Lots of people are shredding paper these days, and it's important that be included. Now, I might suggest that, especially when it comes to the shredded paper, that it be put in a bag so that it's not all over the place. And make it a paper bag, because the paper bag can be recycled just fine. And then you can put all your paper, if you've got room, in these bags, and then just smash the whole bag down into your recycling container. That would really help things out. Advertising mail or junk mail is also welcome to this program. I personally get tons of this stuff. Everybody who does this is a great way. You can now get rid of it. You don't have to put it in with the trash. Another new wrinkle that comes with a modern single-stream recycling program: cartons, that are coated with wax or poly plastic. All welcome to this single stream. We've got these juice containers. We don't need the straws, thank you. And we'd like them to be rinsed. Here's a soup container. These are modern wine cartons. All these things are now welcome in the program. So we actually expect to see a lot more weight in the recycling program, even with the glass being removed. Now, in the beginning, when Pennsylvania passed Act 101 in 1988, glass was right in there as one of the main recyclables. And but now in the single stream process, the glass, as it shatters and breaks down, actually contaminates the other items. And the people who buy the paper and the plastic particularly don't want the glass anywhere near their material. And so that's why we have to get the glass out, to make sure that the rest of the materials are economically viable. Terribly important that this be done. Now we're going to, as the mayor said, we're going to continue to collect glass from the bars and the restaurants and anybody else who produces it in quantity, because there are separate recyclers for that material. And we'll be working with the county on that, because the county also collects glass separately. So we're very confident that we're going to do a substantial amount of glass recycling. Do you have any questions about these things?
Well, how about this? Let's save the questions to the end.
All right.
And we'll just go through the rest of the program here because I bet they do. Just to reiterate a couple interesting things. The recyclable numbers that you find on the plastic containers, it is now 1 through 7. I think in the past in Harrisburg it was 1 through 5. It's now 1 through 7. That's a big deal. That's more than ever before. Other interesting things, books, paperback books are recyclable. I know that. Hey, look, I'm all for donating them. Please do. But they are recyclable now. Hardcover books are recyclable if you take the boards off and put the boards in the trash and you put the paper in with the recyclables. In addition, I think it's pretty clear that you could sweep all that up, put it all in your tub, and it would fit. In the meantime, before we distribute these are on order. We will, if somebody would like a second or a third of the old recycling containers, we do have a lot of those currently on hand, including a nice supply here in the lobby of City Hall. And you mentioned taking the waxy paper out of the cereal boxes. I think that's important too. Right now, the only thing that I have a lot of that we just cannot recycle is sort of this waxy type of paper that comes in there or off a label printer or things like that. And it sounds like we are now recycling campaign flyers, and I think that is a good thing to mention here as we get into campaign season. All those, as they come in, can go straight in with the recycling. All right, so I bet you're thinking, so what's going to happen to the city's put or pay if we start putting all this extra weight in our recycling? Were you thinking that? Because that's what I was thinking. And the answer is, we are making an effort to bring a lot more trash into the system, which currently is going to private haulers, and much of which is currently going outside of the city limits. We feel we can make up for the recycling by bringing those accounts in-house. And we've had some great success, and we'll get to Hack in a moment. But I want to introduce another member of our team, a person that perhaps you haven't had a chance yet to meet. His name is Keith Wilson. He's worked for the city for a while. He came from parking enforcement over here into sanitation. And he is the city's education and enforcement officer. And I want him to talk a little bit about the education side of things. Keith is going to be working with school students. He's going to be working with the community. He spends his days out and about talking to folks about trash and about recycling. And that is a large part of what we want to see more of here in the city, which is basically outreach and education. So, Keith, would you like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your duties, and maybe also mention how you've been doing outreach to some of the businesses?
Good morning. My name is Keith Wilson. As you said, I'm the Solid Waste and Recycling Education Enforcement Technician. The main piece that I'm really focusing on right now is trying to get out into the community and educate the people on how to properly recycle and also how to properly dispose of the solid waste. My everyday duties when I go out into the streets, I talk to the citizens. I've noticed that it's just minor things that they aren't educated on, or they just plainly just don't know. So I try to go out there and I either try to teach them by showing them what to do, or teach them by giving them the proper educational tools as far as pamphlets or something of that nature. Or I'll sit there and I'll basically just have a conversation with them on basically like, all right, well, how can we make things better? Every day when I go through the streets, I probably talk to dozens of citizens while I'm just going down one street, and just to hear the feedback from them on the knowledge of how to properly recycle, and the fact that they don't have that information is something that is very key. And I'm starting to see that a lot of people in the city are bringing on board. That's basically what the main part, the main focus of what I'm trying to do is trying to educate everybody here so we can basically clean up the city, make the city more blight-free, and to basically make the streets a little cleaner. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. And you'll see Keith out and about, and you'll see John as well. And both of those gentlemen are on call. So if you contact the Public Works Department, I wish I could tell you right now all you have to do is dial 311. We're that close to 311, but that's going to be a separate press conference. But soon, 311, and you can ask for either Keith or John. But right now you have to dial, call Public Works, and you can speak to either of them. So if you have questions about a particular item in your household that we haven't addressed and whether or not it's recyclable, then give us a call. Also, Joyce, you've got some flyers, is that right? Joyce has some flyers in the back that are handy dandy, one page. They explain the recycling changes. That flyer is online, and we'd encourage people to take it and maybe even post it in their apartment building or in the trash room of their apartment building. Spread the word. We're out here relying on you to spread the word. So I talked about how we're doing outreach to commercial accounts that are currently using private haulers, and we're bringing them back into the system. Why are there so many hundreds of accounts in the city that are using private haulers? Honestly, I don't know. I think it was apathy on the part of the city. I think it was partially due to capacity on the part of the city. But we are clearly going back as the law allows us to do, and we are claiming those accounts, and we are bringing them into the city system. And as an example of that, we are joined today by the Executive Director of Business Affairs at HACC, Mr. Richard Cardamone. Rich has been working closely with sanitation and is very excited about bringing HACC's trash and recycling into the city as opposed to where it used to be with waste management. One of the exciting things about HACC is if we can train those students, we're really training the younger generation for the future. And to talk a little bit more about his program and his excitement about coming on board with the city, Richard, the podium is yours.
Thank you. Good morning. At HACC Central Pennsylvania's Community College, we take sustainability very important. We've been doing initiatives for several years now at the campus. We had been exploring single-stream recycling, and this new initiative by the city came at really a perfect time where we could sit and look at the single stream. We saw a lot of benefits. Our students, they take sustainability important. They have sustainability forums on campus to engage the students to see what we can do better as a campus to increase our sustainability efforts. So, with this new initiative, there's a lot of benefits, not just for the city, but even for our campus. It's a fairly large campus. We have about 9,000 students annually at our campus. We have 16 buildings on 215 acres. The estimates on trash is about 130 tons per year. And that's not counting everything we're recycling now. Currently on the campus, when you walk around in the classrooms and the hallways, we have multiple bins. There's one for cans, bottles, and paper, and then of course the trash bin. By going to single stream, we're able to eliminate most of those bins and put it down into a trash and a recycle bin. It'll be able to simplify the process for anybody on campus visiting. They don't have to think as hard about what bin does it go in. Usually it's easier to throw in the trash bin. Now we're making it easier where the recycle bin is the more noticeable can, and it'll be a conscious effort that they'll have to throw stuff in the trash. They've already talked about all the different things that are now included in single stream recycling. So we're really expecting a lot of trash that had previously been disposed of to be converted over to the recycling stream side of it. So we're very excited. It was a pleasure working with the Department of Public Works to work on this transition. And we're going to start picking up here either next Monday or the Monday after. So we're going full steam ahead and looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Great to be continuing to partner with you. And HACC is just one of hundreds of commercial accounts that are going to be transitioning into Public Works over the next months. How are we doing that? We're doing that because we've hired new Public Works employees. We have purchased new equipment and vehicles and trucks. We've got a new commercial route that we're planning out. And all these changes are sort of going on behind the scenes, preparing us. We have purchased lifts for our trash trucks, which can lift these toters. All of that had to be done over the last several months due to sort of years of neglect, I would say, of our sanitation fleet. So in sum, major exciting changes here for recycling in the city of Harrisburg that we're announcing here on Earth Day. Read more about it on the city's website, harrisburgpa.gov. Go to the Public Works link. You can print out a copy of that flyer. You can come down to City Hall and get a copy of the flyer. And we are excited and eager to answer the questions now. If you have any questions about recycling. Yes?
Mayor, what's the decision to keep the trash services in-house and not go with a private hauler that might maybe offer a better price and still recycle price?
We believe that we can offer a better service and a better price to residents than a private hauler. It's interesting, we were talking to Richard beforehand, and actually private haulers tend to charge more for the single stream approach, which is something that we're just rolling out right from the beginning. We looked at the issue of privatization really before I was elected mayor, and council voted a resounding no on that. And our position has been basically to undertake a study of the sanitation department and to have essentially a managed competition plan in which the city is given the opportunity to see what it can do, show what it can do, and over time show that effectively we can offer better service and a better price in order to keep it in-house. So it's in that spirit that we are launching these changes, and there should be a report which is going to outline, and this is something that was done by the Commonwealth, by DCED, in consultation with a consultant that we've been working with, that are going to outline the various changes that we want to see over the next year. And if we make those changes effectively internally, then we're going to be able to keep sanitation in-house, and that's definitely what we prefer to see, because we think it's a great asset to the city. We don't think private haulers, for instance, they're going to deal with the basic trash collection. They're not going to deal with a lot of the overflow trash and enforcement issues that the city has, and that's something. Changing these patterns is something that we really have to take on. Yes. Any other questions?
Yeah. On the putter pay, what is the tonnage the city needs?
35,000 tons. And last year, I'm pleased that we made that putter pay convincingly. I've gotten a couple different numbers. I've gotten as high as 38,000 from Laxwama as the number, and I think there's another number I've seen that was as low as 36.5. So, but either way, we safely made the putter pay last year.
And how long does the city have that requirement to meet?
I believe that putter pay is in there for the entire duration.
And about what tonnage are you expecting to capture back from private haulers? Do you have a ballpark?
When the report is issued, they make some estimates. And all we have right now is, well, we have more than anecdotal evidence. We have evidence of quite a lot of trash that we think is slipping through and going outside of the city. Now, that's illegal to do, but nonetheless, the economic incentive to do so is so great that we believe haulers are diverting trash away from the Harrisburg incinerator. If we take all these accounts in-house, we can capture that, and that can essentially replace the tonnage that's going to be lost by recycling. But remember, recycling is the right thing to do. So we're going to do this, and we are confident that we can still make the putter pay.
And then just on, you mentioned the legality. What is the sort of state of the laws around private haulers?
That if you are producing trash in the city of Harrisburg, it must go to the Harrisburg incinerator. It can't go outside of Dauphin County, for instance, and go someplace where it is less expensive to dispose of your trash. And that is happening.
So you could have a private hauler that just has to take it to the incinerator.
We are phasing out all private haulers in the city of Harrisburg. By law, in order to have a private hauler to do trash, you have to have a waiver. Nobody has a waiver. Nobody's had a waiver for years. All outstanding waivers expired years ago. The reason the city hasn't gone and reclaimed a lot of those accounts is because we didn't have the capacity or we didn't have the trucks to do it. We've recently purchased our first front-end loaders for the city in an effort to do this, and we've hired additional employees to be able to do it. So we've been going door to door. Keith and John have been involved in this, meeting with the businesses and saying if you have a private account, you need to end that contract and come on board with the city. That's going to be a huge amount of tonnage that's going to essentially come from private haulers back to the city. Any other questions for Earth Day on recycling or anything that you're... Otherwise, I would invite you to come on up. You can speak to John. You can look at the table a little more closely. And let me just say, I'm going to Harrisburg Cemetery now, and it's going to be a whole host of different individuals, tree plantings, tree trimmings. We can talk about our new arborist position for the city and plant a tree. So I would encourage you and invite you to come up to Harrisburg Cemetery, which is one of the most beautiful places in the city. Last question?
Yeah, I know this is all early. We're waiting for the bids to come out. This is a requirement or a request at this time. I think Christine asked this on Monday. Will there be down the road at some point citations issued for people still putting glass in recycling?
That's way down the road, so we don't anticipate having to do that right now if we can do a really good educational campaign. We don't have to have 100% of the glass out. We just have to have the large majority of the glass out, and that's the message that we want to get out. The rollout has begun for commercial accounts, but we need to make sure that we've got the commercial accounts set before we roll it out on a much larger scale with the new barrels for the residential, and it does have to do with the putter pay. But that'll be coming soon, and you've got a little preview of what it's going to look like.
You mentioned
Yes.
recycling generates income for the city. How much in the current currently generate, and how much do you anticipate it will generate with the additional?
Those are excellent questions, and I'll let John speak to that. But I will say, we don't want to, I will say that even over the past year, we've seen increases in recycling, and we think this is going to be another boost. Historically, the city's recycling totals have been very low, but do you have some numbers or goals that you would like to see for the city? And how does the financing work? How is it in the city's interest to recycle?
There's been a bit of a history regarding the recycling out from the city. For a while, these materials were shipped to a vendor in Allentown that paid a couple $100s a month for the material. Then the city was charged for the material by another vendor. But now the city is dealing with Penn Waste. They are the single stream recycler, and they are paying us a little more than $17 a ton for these commingled recyclables. Last year we recycled over 8 tons of 8,000 tons of material.
How many?
Over 8,000 tons of materials. And we expect that to increase a lot. I'm not going to give you any projections because I can't do it at the moment. But we also expect, as I've explained before, when we get the glass out, we expect Penn Waste to increase the amount that they pay us for the material.
Do you know how much it's $17 a ton right now, but it can go up?
I really don't know.
John, I think you mentioned back when we spoke in February that Harrisburg, the city of Harrisburg's doing a pretty good job recycling compared to the rest of the Commonwealth.
I'd say that it's at least 20%. It's probably closer to 25%, judging by the contrasting our weight of the trash at the incinerator versus the recyclables. The reports I'd always heard that had Harrisburg doing a bad job. It's not as bad as was reported. But anyone will tell you that we don't think participation is anywhere near where it ought to be. And that's where these lovely new containers will come in and really improve things.
Yep, make it easier for people to recycle, and we believe people will recycle more because it's the right thing to do for the environment, and that's a great message for Earth Day. So thank you all very much.